Atheism proposes that there is no God, right? And so what does this kind of entail and mean? This means that the universe was a random coincidence. It emerged from chaos. There was no purpose given to the universe. And, nothing really should even exist, right? Nothing should even exist, right? Not only was the universe kind of just a cosmic accident, right? But also where we become cosmic accidents, right? Humans just become meaningless creatures. We don't really have any type of purpose given to us anymore, right? Because we weren't created, right? We were kind of just spontaneously generated, right, by a series of chaotic events that weren't really inspired by anything properly and stuff, right? And this is what atheism really entails. It means, right, atheism is extremely nihilistic, right? It kind of entails nihilism very heavily and stuff and strongly, and it does take you towards nihilism, right? And a lot of atheists can say, well, so what? You can just still kind of live a fulfilling life. That's kind of not true, right? How could you really be fulfilled, right? When in the background, in your mind, in the background of your head, right? You kind of and understand that, right? Everything is just kind of meaningless, essentially, right? All of life kind of emerged from chaos for no real reason, right? Because there was no designer or creator or purpose giving God that was shaping anything, right? It was just all emerging from chaos and just completely everything is just kind of empty, essentially, right? There's nothing, no purpose added to anything. There's no divine source that we can connect to, right? It's just kind of what we just kind of, like life and everything around us kind of emerged from chaos, and we're essentially inside of a void, right? There is no divinity anywhere, right? It's just all physical and material and mundane, and that's it, essentially, right? And then, that's it. You have to, again, atheism, kind of, what does it entail? And mean, atheism entails, right, that, the universe was just a random generation, right? What do I mean by random? Random as in, like, it wasn't inspired by some type of entity with its own agency, right? Everything just came into existence for literally no reason, right? You exist for no reason, essentially, right? Everything emerged from chaos, and that's what atheism really means, right? Atheism essentially is this kind of, it's nihilism, essentially, right? Veiled up a little bit, kind of covered up. That's why, if you become an atheist, right, you're not too far away from becoming a nihilist, right? Atheism would kind of open the door towards nihilism once you kind of embrace atheism, and then nihilism's just it's around the corner, right? It's coming. You're not too far away from being a nihilist, right? But Christopher Hitchens is kind of a very famous, popular example, right? Look at the guy, man. He was a public debater, a speaker. He commented on how religion is kind of for idiots, essentially, right? How God is kind of malevolent and stuff, et cetera, et cetera. And his entire life was spent kind of trying to debunk religion, trying to ridicule religion, right? And he did this and stuff, and this is what made him popular, right? This is anti-religious nature and stuff, his anti-religious statements and whatever. But, a lot of people don't kind of even pay attention to it. It's like, look at the guy's lifestyle, right? He was drinking and smoking, and he was super depressed and stuff, obviously, right? Because, when you drink and when you smoke, right, that's clearly, you're trying to kind of medicate yourself. It's kind of like a type of form of medication, right? You're trying to supplement something in your life, right? That's why you're smoking and that's why you're drinking and stuff like this. You're clearly depressed, right? This is why it's a way that you would kind of treat your depression, right? Because why would you need to smoke or drink? Think about it, right? Think about it. You could say, it just makes me feel better, right? Well, really, even with all the health risks associated with drinking and smoking, you would still take that type of risk. You would kind of still shorten your life dramatically, right? Because again, look at Christopher Hitchens. He died of throat cancer. It's obvious that it was the cause of that disease was his smoking habit, right? He smoked cigarettes and he drank a lot of alcohol, right? And clearly it was because he was depressed, right? This is why people smoke and drink, and you could say, well, no, it just makes me feel better. Yeah, but why do you need to feel better, right? It's because you feel unfulfilled, right? You need something, some type of thing to help medicate you, right? Something that could keep you psychologically sane, right? But that's just the kind of, that's just you trying to kind of treat some type of depression you have, right? People who smoke and drink are really depressed, right? Otherwise they wouldn't need to like have those things in their life to feel better, right? They would just feel amazing, like without these types of bad habits, right? Without these things, these bad habits that kind of destroy your health, right? Smoking and drinking and stuff like this. And of course, a lot of people say, no, it's not about depression. I'm not depressed. I smoke and drink. No, but think about it. Yeah, you are, right? Really, you are. Why else would you need to smoke and drink and stuff like this? It's clearly you're depressed and you're trying to medicate your depression and stuff. Right? I don't smoke or drink because I don't need to, man. And you could say, well, it's because you're different. Oh, because I don't have any type of I'm content with life. I don't need to have this extra buzz that makes me feel better and stuff, right? Because I'm content and fulfilled on my own and stuff, But Christopher Hitchens, like someone like him, he needed to smoke and drink, right? Because he was unfulfilled, right? He felt this great emptiness inside him, right? I feel he needed some way to kind of medicate it, to kind of give him like some type of buzz that would keep him going, so to speak, right? It was probably because he was somewhat depressed. That's why if you go through any of his lecture videos and stuff, he does seem kind of, there is like, you can sense some type of sadness, right? And it makes sense, right? Because he's an atheist, I presume, right? Or maybe he might have not, clearly defined himself as an atheist. Obviously, I feel like he probably is an atheist, but regardless, right? Atheism. No, it's not just Christopher Hitchens, right? This is like a lot of atheists quickly become kind of hedonists, right? Because nihilism. Once you become an atheist, nihilism's just around the corner, right? Just atheism kind of opens the door towards nihilism and stuff. Because what does atheism entail? Atheism entails, right, that everything around you, right, just kind of emerged from chaos for no real reason, right? We're not really even. We don't have like any type of purpose. We're not really put here for any specific reason, right? We're just kind of like we're just kind of accidental creatures, right? We're accidental beings. Everything is just an accident, right? So, there is no real purpose or meaning behind anything, right? It's just all just chaos and accidents and stuff like that. Things that came into existence for no reason. And, this is what atheism entails and means. And you can say, no, it's not, right? Well, okay, what is atheism? Atheism is the belief that there is no God, right? No creator, no designer and stuff. What does this mean? This means that everything you see around you, right, it came from chaos. It emerged for no reason, really, right? The universe was just a cosmic accident, right? We were essentially, we weren't put here for any specific reason. We're just, we're just accidents, right? Not just us. Everything you see around you is just an accident, right? There was no designer or purpose-giving God constructing anything, right? It was just all just chaos. There is no divine source we can connect to, right? And, atheism. This is what it kind of really means, right? This is what it means. This is what it entails, and this is why so many different atheists are like Christopher Hitchens, right? They're somewhat depressed, right? They have like these. They kind of live very hedonistic lifestyles, right? They have these bad habits that they eventually pick up, right? Like drinking and smoking, which kind of destroys your health and shortens your life. Like, think about it rationally and logically. Why would you smoke or drink or do anything like that, right? You can say, well, it just makes me feel better. Hey, but why would you need to feel better? That's kind of the thing you have to kind of pay attention to, right? Why can't you just, live a healthy lifestyle, right? Wouldn't that be, not have a horrible diet, feel amazing just by by having this in your life, right? Having a clean, healthy diet and stuff. But most atheists, again, like Christopher Hitchens, they just they resort to drinking and smoking because their worldview is extremely essentially they're like nihilists. They become sort of nihilistic and stuff, right? A lot of atheists, right? Because again, atheism really it essentially is kind of like is vaguely, it's nihilism kind of vaguely kind of covered up a little bit. That's what I would say, right? You know, that's what Albert Pike would say as well, right? If you kind of search on Google for like some type of Albert Pike quote that says, "We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists" and stuff. And this is what it's about, right? This is what it's about, right? Atheism and nihilism, you know, they go hand in hand and stuff. And, you know, this is why so many different atheists like Christopher Hitchens become depressed. This is why they start smoking and drinking and having all of these nasty habits in their life, right? This is why they don't really care about their health or anything long term, right? Because, you know, it's all temporary and it's kind of ultimately all meaningless and purposeless, right? You know, everything you see around you is just an accident, right? Nothing was put here with any specific reason or purpose and stuff. And so, you know, it's just like this empty void, right? You might as well just drink and smoke and just destroy your health and just kind of live a short life, because why not? Like, wow, that's it. It doesn't matter anyway. That's right. You know, if you have this very, you know, atheistic worldview and stuff, right? Where, you know, everything's just spontaneously generated. There was no reason why we came into existence. So, you the vast majority of atheists don't kind of realize this, right? They don't realize that their worldview entails nihilism. And to me, it's very obvious, right? Again, look at someone like Christopher Hitchens. Clearly, he was depressed, right? That's why he spent his entire life drinking and smoking, as I've already kind of mentioned throughout this video, countless times. He smoked and he drank a lot and stuff. Caught up, all of those bad habits caught up with him, right? And he developed some type of cancer inside of his throat. And then, of course, he died, right? And then, you know, he's gone now, right? You know, he smoked, he drank. Why is that? Because he was depressed, right? Because he was an atheist. Well, maybe not necessarily because of atheism. That might be kind of a little bit too, you know, that might just be me trying to misrepresent him and stuff like that. You know, that might be too, that might be a kind of a false characterization and stuff. Right? You know, I would actually heavily claim and say that, you know, atheism probably did contribute a lot to this type of depression he was suffering from, right? Because, you know, he was drinking and smoking, right? But why is that, right? You could say this made him feel better, but why did he need to feel better and stuff, right? Because clearly he was not fulfilled. He felt empty, and so he needed something to kind of ease everything, right? Now that's where, you know, the drinking and smoking came in, right? That kind of helped him kind of keep going forward and stuff. But, you know, inevitably it cut his life short, and he died of throat cancer, I presume, or something similar. Yeah, but, you know, again, you know, atheism entails nihilism, right? You just have to kind of see the connections properly, right? You know, again, what does atheism propose? Atheism proposes that, you know, life emerged from chaos for no reason, essentially, right? You know, the universe is just a meaningless cosmic accident, right? Me and you, right? We weren't put here with any type of specific purpose, right? Again, we're just kind of meaningless accidents as well, just like the universe, essentially, according to, you know, atheism. And, you know, this is nihilistic. This is nihilism, right? This is what nihilism is, right? You know, it's the complete emptiness and meaninglessness of, you know, of everything, right? This is nihilism, right? This is what atheism is as well, right? That's kind of absurd. You can see how, you know, they relate to each other. Atheism and nihilism, they go hand in hand and stuff, you know. That's why, you know, just like Christopher Hitchens, so many different atheists are somewhat depressed, right? Not really motivated, right? Not really fulfilled, you know. That's why, you know, well, it's kind of, you could say, well, I'm an atheist, but I'm also like I also have a healthy lifestyle. I don't smoke and drink. Okay, cool. I don't want to kind of generalize, right? Because, you know, some atheists aren't necessarily like, you know, Christopher Hitchens and stuff. Some atheists live, you know, fulfilling, healthy, spiritual, I guess, lives, right? Whatever that would mean for an atheist, right? You know, you have to admit that, you know, a lot of atheists also are depressed. But then you could say, well, so many Christians, right? So many other groups of people are depressed as well. It doesn't mean anything, right? Of course, all right, fine. I'll kind of agree to that and stuff, right? You know, I believe that, you know, atheism kind of, it would, first of all, lead you towards nihilism, or towards becoming very nihilistic, or maybe even towards just fully adopting nihilism as your worldview and belief system and stuff, like ultimately coming to the realization that there is no real point to our lives, right? There is no reason we should even exist and stuff. This is what atheism, right, it's extremely shocking. It could take you essentially towards this type of way of thinking, and so it can pull you towards like nihilism, essentially, right? And that's what you have to be very careful, right? You don't just kind of see it, see stuff, like see atheism just as like, oh, there is no God, and so whatever, right? You have to look at the the other entailments, right? You have to look at like what atheism kind of implies and means and stuff like that, the deeper meaning of atheism and stuff. Not to get duped and tricked, right? Because a lot of people, when you a lot of people see atheism, it liberates you. There is no God, so no rule maker and stuff. So you can do whatever you want, But of course, hedonism. This is essentially hedonism, right? Do whatever you want, right? What do most people do when they don't really have any type of belief in any type of God or whatever, or any higher power, or essentially they become hedonists, essentially, right? Not all the time, right? A lot of people, some people, they just kind of, they go on with their life, but they don't believe in any type of God. Really. A lot of people become hedonists and stuff. They just essentially do anything for pleasure. Right? They don't really have any higher values and attached to their lives anymore. Right? They don't have any type of self-restraint, right? Because why not just indulge in what you like doing? So why have any type of restraint? Cause no one's gonna judge you, right? So to speak, right? Because there is no God, right? So no one to judge you. So you do whatever you wanna, indulge in whatever pleasure you have and stuff. And, this is kind of this is what happens, right? When a lot of people embrace atheism, they see it as something that would liberate them. Like, no more rule maker, right? No one to judge you, so do whatever you feel like doing, right? And a lot of people go down the route of hedonism, and which becomes kind of ultimately, hedonism's self-defeating, right? If you ever had like any type of thing you'd like to do, and if you kept doing it, it becomes less enjoyable, right? And that's why hedonism's kind of, it leads to absurdity, right? It's not something that's going to ultimately keep you fulfilled. It's going to lead to a lot of depression and misery and stuff. And of course, moving back to atheism and nihilism, right? They go hand in hand, right? Look at Christopher Hitchens, right? He drank and smoked all his life, right? Why is that? It's because he was depressed, right? He was clearly depressed. That's why he drank and smoked so much. Even when he was having, that's the reason he died, right? Because of his drinking and smoking habits. That's why there was cancer inside of his throat. But, I mean, it's clear, this is atheism, nihilism. They go hand in hand, and you have to kind of appreciate that and make sure you're aware of this and stuff, right?